welcome back to another episode of the Swagcast. Today I'm so excited. We have an elite artist of fighting games, a YouTuber that with one drop can have the entire community in an uproar, a pioneer for the UFC content creators. Pryoxis. What's going on, Pry? How you doing?
Yo, I'm good. How you doing, gang?
I'm doing good, man. I'm doing good. So I initially want to start this off rip because we had already talked about it and you giggled and said, "Oh boy," when I told you I was a Cowboys fan.
Yeah.
You're a big Packers fan, I assume. Unfortunate big Jordan Love guy. I didn't think it was over during the playoff game, and your tweeting didn't make it any better either. I was like internally crying, trying to make it through. It's tough every year for me because I expect a heartbreak, but then at a certain point during the wild card week, they make me think we're gonna get through it, and we never do. We never make it past that hump.
I mean, it's just the Cowboy ritual, bro. I don't know if you've seen that picture. It was like Cowboy season start. We them boys. They go beat all the bad teams, go to the playoffs, lose. That's just the Cowboys, man.
Yeah,
I hate to break it to you, but I'm sorry. And people gonna hate it. But the Cowboys, it's just y'all reality, bro.
we them boys. It's gonna be our year one day. 1 year we'll make it through. I might not be around anymore when we finally win, but
Yeah.
shit. So I want to initially get into the start of your streaming career, but I want to start back way back when you were a youngin. Going back into middle school, maybe even elementary, growing up. Because you do have a very specific taste in a lot of fighting games. You play a lot of UFC, you play a lot of Street Fighter. Recently, you've been playing a lot of Tekken. And I see you grinding for Diamond on Street Fighter. When you were grinding for it, which was a brutal grind on its own. So I can only imagine. But in middle school or elementary or even high school, did you do any athletics, any sports, any martial artist sports, or any ball sports, team sports?
Yeah, so in middle school, that's where I did the most of my athletic stuff. Like middle school, I played baseball, football, I ran track, and I played basketball. When I played football, I played wide receiver and defensive back, cornerback. Some people call it either or.
Mm-hmm.
In baseball, I played third base. In basketball, I don't even remember. I was on like the B team. Basketball was not my thing. And then as far as running track, I ran the 100, I ran the 400, I ran the 800, 4x4 relay. And I think that may be it.
Well, yeah, so you were a wide receiver and a cornerback. So that's all of the, if you're going to do track as well, that's all of the running stuff.
Yeah.
I was a wide receiver and a corner as well. Well, I was a little short for corner, so I would drop back and play a lot of safety, especially moving into high school, cuz like once I hit 5'8", I like never grew. I do tell people I'm 5'10", but once I hit 5'8", I just never grew. So I would just drop back and play safety in a deeper coverage. Baseball is a sport that a lot of people have been telling me they started with, and it was a sport for me that like all my cousins played, but I never really got into. Did you play baseball for a long time?
No, it was just one season. So it was a like a little community thing called Backfield in Motion, and obviously it was other communities that did it too, but it was called Backfield in Motion, and this one little community that we had in middle school. It was a football season, basketball season, baseball. They did the whole 9 yards. And then also, as far as high school, I didn't play any sports in high school. I mean, I went to 3 different high schools, so it was like the one where I grew up at in Nashville, Tennessee. If anybody out there does know Pearl, I went there for a little bit, and then I went from there to Antioch High, and then I went from there to Riverdale. And basically, Riverdale is like, it's like the suburbs, but it was like really big on sports and really big on favoritism. So I was like, bro, I'm not even finna try. And then I heard some things going on in that locker room that, I just wasn't fond upon. So I was like, I'm good on as far as playing sports. I don't care that much about it. And I moved on from there. Yeah.
So it sounds like you moved around a lot.
Yeah.
How did that affect you academically?
I mean, it was the same thing, honestly, because when I moved, when I was in Nashville and I moved out of Nashville, and I was kind of I ain't gonna say forced, but my mom moved out because I mean I was in a bad spot
Mhm.
as far as like gun violence, all that type of stuff. We moved out of there, and that was like halfway through freshman year. So after that, went to Antioch, and then I finished off freshman year there, and then after that, I went to Riverdale, where I basically was finished. So it wasn't like every single time it was in the middle of the year I was jumping. It was
Oh, okay.
just the one time in freshman year.
Yeah, so your mom more moved you out just because of like to get you into like a different crowd, like a better crowd to more better yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah, my parents had like a similar. They had taken. I went all through elementary school in and I don't know if you're much familiar with Rhode Island, but there's like two parts of Providence. There's like the city, and then there's like the outskirts of Providence, which are like just not the best places. And then I were to move, got moved around middle school. So I definitely, I can see that how that would help you to grow to like the man that you would to be excuse me, the man that you would become after high school and going into college and things like that. Did you end up graduating and going into college?
Nah, I ain't go to no college game.
No, no, not
I
me either.
I had a shit fresh out of high school. I boom baby firstborn fresh out of high school. So it was straight to the fields, bro.
Oh, okay, so I knew you were a father. That's cool. So right out of high school, so you had to go right to working, making money, putting bread on the table.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, it's a
What?
whole situation, even with that
Uh-huh.
that I ain't even gonna really speak on.
Yeah, we don't gotta dive into it.
But yeah, yeah. Basically, I had to get up out of there.
Yeah, absolutely. So what kind of jobs were you doing fresh out of high school?
All the typical, straight warehouse, straight to the warehouses, like because that was the easiest jobs to get in. And going through
Mm-hmm.
like temp agencies, you know what I mean? First job was like a warehouse job for what's his company? Hot Top, a little warehouse job. It was during like the peak season, like Christmas season.
Mm-hmm.
Man, I I went there 2 years in a row. The first year I went there, it was crazy. The second year was crazy. I actually got fired the second time I went, bro, cause the supervisors knew me from the last year, so I guess they had some type of comfortability with me, and he gave me somebody's back order that I was supposed to you know what I'm saying, fill out.
Uh-huh.
I lost the back order.
Oh shit.
I lost the back order. He was hot. That man, hey, he walked me the hell up out of there. Said, "I'll let you know if you can come back." I'm already knowing, bro. It's cooked.
Yeah,
Like, I
it's
mean, I
over.
really didn't care because this is what it was, bro. Like, I'm gone. But as far as job from there, like I worked. I ain't gonna lie, I worked a lot of places, bro.
Mm-hmm.
If I worked so, because it was a temp agency, bro. Y'all have to call me next week when it's another job opening. I'm
Yeah.
not staying somewhere that I don't want to be. Like,
Mm-hmm.
unless I had to. Like, I probably worked. I can't tell you how many jobs I worked, and yep, I'm out of here. Yep, I'm out of here. And it got to and it was to the point where basically, that's when I had my second daughter. So that's when I was like, oh, like I got to do something I don't want to do because I mean I got responsibilities. So that's when I worked my job up here, basically making. It's called Adient. If you never heard
Mm-hmm.
of it, and basically they make seats. Well, it was called Johnson Controls, but they changed it called Adient. But they make seats for Nissan cars. So like
Oh,
the
okay.
Road, Pathfinder, Altimas, all those they made the seats for them. I ain't gonna lie, bro. I wouldn't. It was cool, but like it wasn't for somebody to just wanna work. It wasn't because it was hard in your hands. Like my first week, I couldn't even open my milk because my hands was because it's just pure hand work. It's pure hand work. So my hands was dog tired, bro. And shit, them bitches was so sore that I couldn't even really open milk. But I mean, I had to do what I had to do because I got two kids. Well, I had another kid on the way. So
Yeah. So yeah, now building up calluses and shit. I used to do the warehouse and the painting work and shit too, and like that tears up your knees too. Knees are another thing. I don't know if
uh,
you were on the knees
nah,
much, but the knees be getting fucked up in some of those warehouses too.
yeah,
But
we standing on concrete.
oh, well, that's good too, though. So moving from you're in a warehouse now, when do you go from there to starting to make content?
Uh, it went from there to starting to make content about. I want to say probably about a year or two in. I want to say maybe a year and a half, 2 years in is when I first got my first PC from Electronic Express, if you know what that is.
Mm-hmm.
I financed my first PC, and I was like, it was my first PC I ever had because I ain't never had a PC. I used to use my cousin old laptop playing League of Legends way back when,
Yeah.
running 20 frames per second. But I got my first PC, and I was like, at this time, I was already good at video games. Like if we fast forward, like after high school, really during high school, that's when I was really good Halo 3 player, really good Black Ops 2 player, really good Gears of War player. So that was like my main three. Those three games was like I was try hard. So pure shooters. I didn't play no fighting games really. Um and after I kind of gained the skill there, that's when I don't know why, but I came across Cody Garbrandt and a Dom Cruz fight somewhere, which made me want to play the game because after I watched they fight, and that was like it was like near the end of UFC 2, like a year left,
Mm-hmm.
and I got the PC, got all that. I was like, "No, I'm gonna just play it. It was just for fun, right? At that time, it was just for fun. I was bad at the game. Um, I was using Bruce Lee only too. Like I was one of them. Bruce Lee only. That's it. That's it. And basically, I kind of got to a point. I was like, okay, I'm starting to get better. And then it was more so entertaining or more just passing by time. This was like my getaway type thing. Me hop on, and then I started streaming, and I was like, okay, this is cool. And I started picking up some traction on Twitch, and then basically Twitch cooked me, but it is what it is. And then I
Mm-hmm.
moved on from Twitch to YouTube, and that was UFC 3. That was like, yeah, UFC 3 times was more Twitch, but UFC 3 times was also I'd say about a year or two in. I'm gonna say about 2 years in, maybe 1 year in, is when I switched from Twitch to YouTube, and basically I started doing like tutorials. Because if you go to my channel, you look at my oldest videos, you're gonna see just tutorials for UFC 3, and that's when I kind of became actually good at the game.
Mm-hmm.
And UFC 3 was the time I would say is the time where I was the most competitive as far as playing was UFC 3. Like I was every week I'm on ESFL fighting every week, and I became a champ. Well, I became a champion twice, I believe. Yeah, twice, and then I just kept making content, kept doing tutorials, and then at the end of UFC 3 was I had 5,000 subscribers in the UFC 3 going into UFC 4. And then UFC 4 dropped, and it was like, boom. I'm talking about streams or days. It was like 2 days where I got like 2,000 subscribers in a day.
Mm-hmm.
And it was just like crazy. And the tutorials, that's where you see my biggest videos is those tutorials, the takedown videos and stuff like that. That's where I really started getting that pop as far as subscriber count going up. And then obviously, UFC 5 comes out. It's consistently going up. Obviously not as fast. I would say peak as far as analytics was like UFC the beginning of UFC 4.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, because I built up a lot of momentum going into UFC 4 with UFC 3. Especially, I ain't gonna lie, bro. UFC 3, I had this thing right at the end, bro. It was during COVID season, COVID-19 season, well, 2020, because COVID-19
Mm-hmm.
was at the end. But bro, I was getting these unemployment checks because my job, everybody's job like cooked, they shut down.
Yeah.
And I was getting the unemployment checks, and like man, forget. I'm finna take some of this money, and I'm gonna just run tournaments with it. And I started
Mm-hmm.
running them calf tournaments, and they was doing really good, and that kind of helped my traction going into UFC 5 or UFC 4. And then honestly, UFC 4 took off because I went from about the 5,000, and UFC 4 released like the it was either October or September. It was on like a 14th, and I probably gained throughout that 2 weeks. I passed up 10,000 like subscribers from 5,000. It was just crazy the amount of growth I had in that game.
Yeah, no, you became one of like the pioneers in UFC 4 because I was kind of late to the community. I always played the games. I played the original THQ games.
You go
And
back.
I would those were crazy. But and then I would always play 1 and 2 with the boys, and 3 I remember trying to figure it out, watching tutorials. And then four is when I started making content with it because I myself was also a shooter, not good at shooters, but I thought I was good at shooters. And moving into UFC is where I actually found, oh shit, I'm actually kind of decent at this, and kind of started to build the traction. But when it came to like UFC, like cream of the crop creators, it was always like you and then Marshall, like at the very top. Like, oh, you need some tips, like go watch their like tutorials,
Yeah.
or like you want to like upgrade something and make your stream better, go look and find out how Marshall and Pride do it, right? and and that was like a thing, like moving for like a lot of creators, it especially like the Twitch guys, because like you guys are of course YouTubers, and like the Twitch, we never really had somebody that was like the guy on like Twitch. It was always like either YouTube or now TikTok. You see the TikTok UFC cakes too.
Yeah, the TikTok UFC definitely took. I mean, TikTok, you like honestly, because I mean, you look at people like I Game You Watch just started on UFC and the growth that he had. Nas UFC growth that he had. As toxic as he is, Six Iraq and the growth that he had. Where he started from, mainly what I'm talking about. All these guys started UFC on TikTok and just going crazy. I mean, you got more that I could name, but I don't want to leave nobody out, and I don't want to keep naming people. Somebody be like, "Why didn't you name me, bro?" So they know who they are. If they on TikTok, they know exactly who they are.
Yeah, Six Arakan was funny because he was a guy that like I'd be streaming minding my business, and there would be 4 or 5 guys in my chat like, "Yo, Six Arakan's live, go fight him." Be like, "What?
Yeah.
Why? Like, is a guy in a samurai mask? That's just gonna cheese me. Like, I don't want to go through that. It's gonna make me
Yep.
upset."
And honestly, like while I will talk about like the way he played the game, he's cheesy. We all say that, but people like watching him, bro. I mean, he's went from the UFC community to now he went from UFC immediately to Mortal Kombat. I mean, he played UFC 5 like one time.
Mm-hmm.
And it was cooked for him regardless because he was big on the spinning elbows and stuff, but they changed the inputs. So yeah,
Yeah.
it was cooked for him. But I mean, he went to Mortal Kombat, and honestly, he went crazy there, and now he's on Tekken, and he's doing his thing on Tekken too. So
That's what's really like happening for everybody. Like everybody in the UFC scene has started switching their games, and we're all like seeing growth in like the games that we're actually enjoying. Because at the end of the day, playing UFC for 8 hours is just frying your brain cells and
it's not
not a
even
good way to.
fun. It's
Mm-mm.
not it's not even fun. Like the whole aspect because you I say this, and I'm not gonna sit here and drag UFC 5 this whole sequence, but
Yeah, of course.
you feel like you're not playing against your opponent. You're playing against the game mechanics. Like
Hmm.
you get to a point where you get to a level on ranked where you're playing against somebody else, yeah, but it's like you're playing. You have to defend against just busted game mechanics or unbalanced game mechanics is a better way to use it, and it's just not fun.
Yeah, no, for sure. It's something that just is annoying to deal with, but I know I do, like I have a passion for MMA that like it still draws me to the game like no matter what. Or like I'll watch the card on Saturday, and then on Sunday
Mm-hmm.
I'll be like, "Fuck, I want to play MMA. Like I want to do UFC 5." But
Exactly. You get that. You gotta get your fix. You get on and get
yeah,
your fix, bro.
exactly. You
I
get like a
already
little
know.
itch.
I already know. And it's like you get on in your mind. It's like you reset. It's like Men in Black. You get the reset. Put the glass on. Get the little flash thing, and you get on and you get reminded why you don't play the game as much as you used to. Every single time you get reminded when you get on UFC why you don't play as much as you used to. But I mean, what's crazy is casual players love it. Like casual players love this game. But
Yeah.
I think people that get a better understanding of the game and how the game works and mechanics, that's where the issues come in. Or people that are martial art fans, they get on the game and they can't get that same type of vibe as real martial arts we get on UFC 5.
Yeah, like I'm like involved in the pro scene a lot for primetime MMA.
Mm-hmm.
So like I talk to a lot of the pro players and stuff. I run their podcast, and I actually had a problem yesterday. One of the best players in the world, Smudger, was like, I'm not playing until they fix it. Like I'm retiring
Yeah.
until they fix it, and that's like a massive loss because he's fucking really good. He's really good to watch. He draws views, but like people don't want to sit here and like play a game that is like upsetting them.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Like, I've kind of switched my whole mindset as far
Mm-hmm.
as playing competitive, as far as being like, oh, one of those best players. Like, I don't even, I genuinely don't care to be competitive in the game anymore because I feel like the game wasn't made to be competitive. I feel like it was more driven towards presentation and casual players. Now, you can make any game competitive, but I don't see the competitiveness when it comes to a skill ceiling and like a skill gap when it comes to UFC 5. I think the skill gap is small, the skill ceiling is small. I mean, if we talk about game mechanics, right? We would I could drill that all day and talk about how easy it is to do certain things, but I don't feel the skill ceiling is high. The difference between fighters is high. You know, this style, this kickboxer, this prolific kickboxer, you put him versus this style. You know, because at the end of the day, style makes fights. So when I go in and I'm going against, let's say I'm going against a Max Holloway.
Mm-hmm.
You know, he's a boxer, kickboxer. If I'm using somebody like, let's say Brian Ortega, my chances of outboxing him should be very low. But because of certain moves that you can use in the game, and I'm not saying it should be an automatic loss, but it should feel like, okay, it's tough to beat Max Holloway. But there's people out there that will be able to just beat Max Holloway, not because they're better, it's just because they abuse certain things and do cheese basically just to win the fight.
Yeah, I understand what you're saying, and
So
I've been diving into the cheese recently. Like I've been I had a whole stream the other day where I literally just threw spinning elbows to see how many doctor stoppages I could get, and
yes,
I got around 30 something doctor stoppages, couple death threats. A lot of people were mad in the messages. Like of those 30 doctor stoppages, about half DM'd me on PlayStation, and I couldn't show all of them on stream because
yeah,
they called me some crazy things. But that I really I that's a bad thing with the spinning elbows. But moving forward, because I don't want to talk about UFC 5 all day, it's gonna make me depressed. You've been playing a lot of other games on stream. I saw you. I think it was a week ago. You be live at like 4 a.m. while I'm getting like
yeah,
up to go for work. I was watching you play a regular team 2K the other day.
yeah. See, my sleep schedule's cooked. First of all, like my sleep schedule. Let's say today, right? My
Mm-hmm.
sleep. Okay, I got my sleep schedule perfectly how I want to. The next day is cooked. Like my sleep schedule is bad. It's downright disgusting how bad my sleep schedule will get. And yeah, I play 2K, so sometimes I'll get on and play UFC, and then I'm like, okay, all right, yeah, that's enough UFC. Or I'll get on and I've been wanting to do more like just talking to chat type thing,
Mm-hmm.
but I get an itch to play 2K sometimes or Tekken. I mean that's just a game where more so I'm trying to get actually better at. So I'll play Tekken. I play that on and off stream. But yeah, but early morning streams, that's cause shoot, I be up. I be up late. Late. So I just hop on stream. Usually I try to do it like before 12, but if it come after 12, then hey, it is what it is. And then yeah, 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning streams.
Yeah, no, I feel when I can, I always try to stream as early as possible too, just because I like the late night streams. That's when I
Yeah.
feel like you get away with like horror games and shit the best too, or just reactings.
Hmm.
Um, but another thing I wanted to talk about because I saw you at Monday Night Raw a couple weeks ago. It was actually the first Monday Night Raw CM Punk was at.
Yeah.
And I actually didn't know you were a wrestling fan.
Well, I grew up watching wrestling. I kind
Mm-hmm.
of just got back into it. Like I say a year and a half ago, I kind of got back into it. I'm not a hardcore. I watch it, but for the most part, yeah, bro. Like I never been. So a lot of stuff growing up I didn't get to do as
Hmm.
far as, I mean, obviously because financial problems. I had my mom. It was just my mom, and it was three
Hmm.
kids. So a lot of stuff like going to wrestling events and doing that type of activities. It was cooked. So yeah, but I finally was able to afford to go to like a WWE event, and I went, and it was actually crazy because that was Randy Orton just got back. That
Yeah.
was after War
Survivor
Games.
Series. Yeah.
Yeah, so Randy Orton just got back. He was on Monday Night Raw. CM Punk came back. I actually got to shake his hand, which was crazy. Um, and it was just the whole vibe of WWE because it's different. Like going to a UFC event and watching it on TV is different. Going to a WWE event and watching on TV is different because when you're watching it on TV, you can hear the commentators and stuff. You can even hear what the wrestlers say sometimes.
Hmm.
You can't hear none of that at the event. None of it.
Yeah, no,
None
you
of it.
you can't hear any of that. I actually went to the Friday Night SmackDown that same week, and Punk was there and stuff too. And
Yeah.
I recently got into it about a year ago because of Roman Reigns. I was confused of the tribal chief stuff, so I wanted to find out about myself, and I got like roped in to like the bloodline and like the entire story, and but now I'm
Yeah.
sick and tired of Roman, and I'm starting to think of myself as a Roman Reigns hater. Uh,
Oh man.
I actually had Wolfpack on a couple episodes ago, and he
Oh,
got
that's
mad at
that's
me.
the
It
that's
is
the
the wrong.
Roman Reigns. He is the Roman Reigns stand. Do you hear me? The stand of
Yes,
Roman Reigns.
100%. I told him I want Cody to finish the story, and he was like, "You're out of control. You're about to walk off the podcast." He he was brutally upset.
That's funny, bro.
Just sick and tired of that. It's just going on too long. But I feel like a lot of old school wrestling fans, because I was into it back in the ruthless aggression era where Kurt Angle was still there, John Cena was just starting
Mm.
off, but then I kind of took like an 8 year to 10 year break off of it and recently got back into it, and I'm also starting to realize that as a child you love professional wrestling, and then as like a teenager, like you're like, ah, this shit's whack, like this shit's fake. Like if I want to watch people fight, I'll go watch MMA or like boxing.
Yeah,
And then as an adult, you start to like just kind of enjoy the story, enjoy the promos and all
you
of that
understand
stuff.
the storyline behind it. Yeah,
Yeah,
you're
it
not
starts
as
to.
gullible. You're not as gullible either.
Yeah, exactly. It draws you back in more, and like you find
Yeah,
yourself actually liking the heels and like actually liking the bad guys instead of like as a kid I hated Edge, that motherfucker, I couldn't stand him, but like now I find myself as like a fan of Gunther and like enjoying Roman and like things like that.
yeah,
So wrapping back, you're from Tennessee.
sir.
uh are you near Nashville or?
I'm like, I'm like, I'd say like 40 minutes away from Nashville.
Oh, okay,
Yeah,
but so how I always hear that like Nashville is like the heart of like country.
country
The
music.
Yeah, the heart of country
Yeah,
music, like party city. I've never been able to go myself, but as a man that loves partying, I've been to Vegas 3 times, but I've never been to Nashville. How does like country music in, I don't know if it's all of Tennessee or just Nashville, or if you even listen to country music, but
I dabble. I don't really just listen to it. I get that moment. Like I'm a person that like just good music. So I listen to a rock song. I listen to anything as far as music.
okay,
But
so you have like a wide genre of music.
yeah,
I'm like the same way with my music taste. I'm into like hip hop, R&B, rock, really whatever sounds good.
yep,
But but back to like the country thing, uh striving through like taking over Tennessee, like is that just more of like a Nashville thing, and like is that something that affects you? You said you only listen to country music here and there, but
yeah. See, okay. So growing up, here's the thing about, and it's like this in a lot of states
mhm.
where they portray one thing one way, and you make one turn, and you in the projects. That's Nashville. like when you watch the Tennessee Titans games, they show the Cumberland River, they show the Nissan Stadium, but they don't show the projects. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
That they done gentrified. They don't show Andrew Jackson. They don't show South 8. Right? They don't show University Court. They don't show none of that. Right? They don't show those projects, and those are right down Nashville. I mean, Dodge City. Right?
Mm-hmm.
All that is right down there in Nashville, bro. But they don't really show that on TV. But like as far as like downtown Nashville, yeah, you're gonna get that country vibe. They're gonna be bumping the country music. But like I said, you make a turn and you in the hood. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's Nashville.
Yeah, no, I've never been. I've always wanted to go to Nashville for like the party vibes, because once again, I'm just a vibey partier.
You gonna get lit. I tell you that. You gonna get drunk.
That's the goal. I mean, I've been to Vegas 3 times. I know you've been to Vegas at least once
Yeah, just one.
for the
ESFL.
ESFL event.
Uh-huh.
Did you guys party like before or after the gaming event? Like
Nah, it wasn't really not much partying, but it was really just chilling, vibing out.
just chilling,
It
vibing?
wasn't too much
Yeah.
partying. Cause I mean, personally, I didn't care too much to party because
Hmm.
I didn't care too much about drinking down there. So yeah, more so just
Yeah.
vibing.
Yeah. Drinks are hella expensive down there anyway. You gotta.
Boy, boy, I'm talking like the bottles down here. That is, you know, the $50 bottle. They double down there. Like, bro, what is these prices?
Nah,
I
they
was like,
say it's cheaper to just go into a Walgreens and buy your bottles, and even in Walgreens, they're fucking a bottle is $30 out here. It's like 78 out there.
and it's actually crazy in Vegas. I like coming from Nashville. I like
Hmm.
their hotels is crazy compared to like the Holiday Inn, Hamptons. They got crazy hotels. And you walk in, the first thing you gonna see is slot machines, boy. Like they don't play with that gambling down there. Well, over
Uh,
there.
where'd you stay when you
I
went?
was in a Luxor,
Oh, okay, yeah, the
the little
pyramid
pyramid.
one.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's where Carrot Top performs there. He got like a suite right at the top. I'm a freak for Vegas. I like there's nowhere else in the states that's as like I'm a sucker for lights. So like anything that's like crazy lights at night, like crazy scenery, I'll like eat it up. Like
The strip.
yeah, oh my god, the strips, like the old strips even better. Fremont Street's even like the old casinos and like the Golden Nugget and like shit that you would see in GTA San Andreas.
Mm-hmm.
Like the old strip. That's even more beautiful. Like I just love the scenery out there, the vibes. It's just like it's such a vibey place, but it can be crazy too. The last time I was in Vegas, crazy story. I'm leaving the nightclub. It's like 7 a.m. because you party like crazy out there in Vegas, and
Right.
I'm walking back, and I'll skip the blackjack table pot. I sat there, got lucky. It was my birthday week. I was born on Valentine's Day, so it was like
Okay.
a busy weekend of the Super Bowl. It was like crazy.
Mm-hmm.
I'm walking back to the hotel, and this woman came up to me, very nice. She was touching my chest, and then I realized she was offering me things in return of moolah, and the conversation went a little deeper, but then stopped, and I'm going back to my room, and when I got there, I realized my wallet wasn't in my left pocket anymore,
Oh nah.
and I got pickpocketed. So that's like that was my last time in Vegas, and I'll never live that down on in anywhere I go. So now I just tell the story. Now I can laugh about it. That week I did not laugh about it. It was
Yeah, that's actually tough.
I almost
Damn.
didn't get back. Like the airport was like the struggle. TSA like didn't believe I was who I was, and like they
Mm-hmm.
weren't taking pictures. I was lucky that like I don't throw anything away, and I had an old boarding pass from like the
Damn.
flight before.
Right. That's actually tough, bro.
Yeah, that shit was
Got to be
insane.
more careful, my boy. Got to be more careful, my
I,
boy.
I got caught lacking.
Damn.
That's what my life has become, getting caught lacking. Like, I know you've seen the banana picture. That was another thing where I've gotten caught lacking. Um, However, I now want to redirect back into the streams, back into content, and so I want to also talk about Toon Squad.
Sir.
And now, are you the founder of Toon Squad?
No, I'm not even the founder, the leader. Like we don't really have a leader, but if we had one, it'd be Jam and Make. Jay's the founder. Like the Discord, the logo, Jam and Make. Like I did nothing but be a part.
Well, Jay's the goat when it comes to like graphic designing and
Yeah.
just supporting in general. And his edits have been getting out of control,
Out
crazy.
of it be getting nasty. I ain't
Yeah,
gonna lie.
his videos are getting crazy just off of the edits alone. And he's just got like a beautiful voice. I don't know how to like say it
He
properly with
whisper. He
those.
whisper all the time. Like
Yes.
me back on UFC 3 times, all that whispering.
Yeah, bro, it's like
Man.
ASMR. You're like falling asleep to his voice. But
Yeah, no,
how
you
like
gotta pause that. You gotta pause that. You
I
gotta
do have to
pause
pause that.
that. You gotta pause that.
See, I'm getting caught lacking again. So now I kind of want you to explain how like the relationship with like you and Toon Squad and JMMA kind of started.
Well, as far as let me think, how did it start? Because I think, damn, I really don't remember. That was crazy. I remember Dark. I remember talking to Dark. As far as with Toon Squad, I remember talking to Dark because I was looking for a 4090, and he hit me up and he was willing to sell me a four. No, actually, I think it was like a 3090 or something like that. It was some graphics card,
Mm-hmm.
and he was willing to sell me, and we just started talking then. But I really don't remember too much on how we all got like clicked up. But I do know like Toon Squad happened because of ESFL because they did that little team season thing.
Mm-hmm.
But even before then, like me, Fight Night, Dark, Jay, right? We was all cool. We was all like a group type thing. Ozzy Kid, Jonathan, DJ, obviously. Like we was always all cool.
Mm-hmm.
So it wasn't like we only made the camp because we had to. It wasn't something that would like it was. Oh, we got to make this group for UFC. Like nah, it was just because
Mm.
ESFL.
That's how a lot of camps like come together. It's just like a bunch of friends. And
Yeah.
the fact that like the camp's still together shows that like your friendship does go deeper than like just the game, because a lot of you guys don't even be playing the game no more.
Yep.
But you guys still make a bunch of content together, like the Toon Squad circle sit downs you guys been doing, the podcast, and
Yeah.
all of that stuff. You guys are starting to pump out like different genres of content, even Texas Chainsaw Massacre content.
Yeah, that ready or not, WWE's coming out. We gotta
Mm-hmm.
do something for that, and we're just trying to like expand beyond, the UFC game. And it's no disrespect to UFC. It's just when you look at the landscape of UFC, how many people are doing things like these big content creators are doing off of just UFC. You know what I mean? Like if I look at the like, let's say AMP. You know what AMP is, right?
Yeah, like Kai
Okay.
Cenat and stuff.
Okay, so you got Duke Dennis. Where did he
Mm-hmm.
come from? 2K. You got Agent 2K. You got what's his name? Davis 2K. Like they went from 2K. They built their base off 2K and then they expanded from there and it's more so about them. You
Mm-hmm.
know, because I mean that's how it is usually. You know, you build a base off of a game. I mean, I Show Speed started on 2K, I believe too. Like you build a base of people that want to watch you off of a video game, and then you try to branch off of there. Even Pretty Boy Fredo, I could go on and on. Cash Nasty, all of them. So that's
XQC,
kind of yeah,
Mr.
exactly. Yeah,
Beast.
he was like
Yeah,
Overwatch. I think
yeah.
he was.
He was like the
Um,
best, one of the best players in the world.
yeah, I think he was a Winston man or something
Yeah,
like
the
that. But
gorilla.
yeah, yep. But it's like that's kind of how we're looking at it, and we're looking to expand because I mean we got personalities, so
Mm.
it's like why not mesh all the personalities together, make videos and do stuff like that. I mean we could be doing more, but I digress when it comes to that situation.
No, I think you guys are doing your thing, and especially with like staying in the realm of games, and you guys have been branching out like crazy. You had mentioned Ready or Not too, and I actually saw you guys were talking about that. That's a game that I played for a little bit, and like that game's crazy. That game I feel like
Yeah,
doesn't get the love it deserves.
I think, and that'd be the problem with a lot of games. It really feels like if the game isn't popping on as far as content, no one's really going to care about it, unfortunately.
Mm.
So it's like, and it's not a bad thing, but it's like the big content creators kind of control the landscape of gaming. I mean, what's that game called? Well, you would have to cash in the finals,
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
and or there's another shooting game that everyone was talking about, but it was like if the big content creators aren't really playing it or really just broadcasting that game or switching to it, it's very hard for that game to live on
Mm.
nowadays.
Yeah, like nothing will like dominate. Like right now, Fortnite's like just like been crushing it when it comes to shooters
Yeah,
or
Fortnite, Apex, Call
Call
of
of
Duty.
Duty. Even
Yeah.
even with like the downside of Call of Duty, it's still one of like the
Yep.
biggest content made games.
And I'm with all due respect, I don't know how that game's still because Call of Duty has fallen off the cliff for me. And maybe that's just some people just like Call of Duty, but like for me, I feel like Call of Duty peaked with Black Ops 3. I mean Black Ops 2. That
Hmm.
like Black Ops 2 was my favorite Call of Duty. In my opinion, was the most comp Call of Duty. Like you could get on Black Ops 2 and do everything. You could be a casual player. You could be a tryhard. You could be one of those guys that want a quick scope. You could be one of the people that want to run around with a ballistic knife and a throwing knife with a throwing axe.
Hmm.
Like you could do it all in Black Ops 2, in my opinion.
Yeah, personally, my favorite was Black Ops. Just the normal
The
first
original,
straight up. Yeah,
it's usually those two. It's either Black Ops the original or Black Ops 2. So
yeah.
I
And then the
respect it.
people that say MW2 are just like the
They, I'm gonna be honest, bro. When people say, "Oh, MW2 is the best Call of Duty," that's just nostalgia, bro.
yeah.
Because MW2 was a festival, bro. Like it was just fun, and back then, that's what we all cared about was fun. Because when you play MW2, you realize like the game is busted. like like what's the perk called when you stab somebody from 3 miles away?
Yeah.
Um.
I can't think of the name of it, but
I
that
can't think
game
of what
is
it, but yeah, that perk, one man army, you spawn and search and destroy. Dook, 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 dook. Somebody shooting new twos from literally across the map and you dying, bro. Like, bro, the game is broken, bro. It really is.
yeah, bro. People love the no scopes and the 360 long scopes in Modern Warfare
Yeah,
2, but
trick shotting.
that was because those were the most broken. You could just hold it down and fucking land every time.
That and I mean, a lot of people was the clips was set up. It was set up clips. I can't be mad at it because they still landed the shots, but yeah, a lot of montages stuff like that was setup. Well, not the like the quick scope where they run around, boom. But
Mm.
a lot of them trick shots. I mean, some of it was real. Don't get me wrong, but for I feel like a lot of them was fake. Like have a guy stand still and do it, but nonetheless, it's still a trick shot.
Yeah, me and the boys used to try to make throwing knives trick shots videos with that shit all the time. Just like stand in this place and we'll just huck it over. But we always missed by like 30 feet. We never actually successfully got it
Sound
done.
about right.
Um, but how do you kind of like decide like this is what I'm playing today? This is gonna be what the stream's based off of, or do you kind of just like, especially when you're streaming, because I know you're more of a video creator. Do you just kind of like just whatever you're feeling that day? You start the stream and
Yeah.
then you go in with it.
So it's like okay. So I look at it like this. Some days I don't. If I just don't feel like playing UFC at all, I
Mhm.
won't play it. Right. And then there's some days where I kind of feel like playing, so I'll play it a little bit. And then there's some days where I have a mission. I'm like, okay, let me try to go hard a little bit in UFC. But then there's other times where I'm like, okay, the goal is to get people in my stream based on UFC, and then switch games. And when I switch games, obviously I'm gonna lose some people, but then you can find some other people that's going to be interested in the UFC or the games that I hop on, but they, you know what I'm saying, they came for UFC.
Hmm.
So it's kind of like that. It's like a funnel essentially.
Yeah, and as a primary streamer, like I do know you notice the people that are coming in just for UFC too. Like you know they're gonna come in,
Yeah.
they're gonna say one or two things in chat, and then they're gonna be non-existent for the rest of the time, especially if you're not on the game. Now one thing I look up to your content a little bit for this because when you make videos, it seems like you just this is something I try to do as well. It seems like you just hit the record button, one take, and you do it perfect. And I know it might not be one take. You might actually have like 4 or 5 videos you redid before that. But I know I do notice there's really not much editing going on. Do
Hmm.
you do that because editing's so time consuming, or have you just like gotten so like comfortable with the hit record and just go?
Yeah. So it really depends on the content, bro. Honestly. So like if needed be, I'll get down and do some editing because at the end of UFC 4, I started picking up doing more editing. It's like adding in effects, but I stopped.
Mm-hmm.
But I kind of I mean, I wouldn't call it laziness because I have no problem with sitting here editing, but it depends on the video. Cause like when I was doing tutorials in UFC 3, those was like hit record and I could have done better, but I didn't really know how to edit, do anything then. But if I was to go and do, let's say, I did one tutorial UFC 5, but if I was to go and do like a tutorials on UFC 5 now, I do where I would freeze frame, point to something, zoom in, do stuff like that. But for the most part, as far as these showcases stuff like that, but I kind of hit record and just be me. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And don't get me wrong, I could definitely add extra editing to that, but I just hit record and be me. That's kind of my thing.
I mean, that's why the community loves you though. Like because like you're always gonna, especially when you make these points in your videos, you're always gonna stand on business.
Yeah,
And you're always gonna come back to the next video and you're gonna stand on business. And that's something that like in the beginning of UFC 5, before the game even dropped and like that first week of like hard beef, it was like you were just standing on business, like
that's it, bro.
you were like,
That's
I'm not
it.
necessarily saying you're wrong, but this is my point and I'm standing on it.
Yeah,
And that's what I admire about your content so much, that like you just stand on business. Mama ain't raised no bitch. I'm gonna sit
straight
here
up.
and stand on business.
Right. And that's me, bro. Like if I feel a certain way, I like somebody saying something or somebody feeling some way isn't going to persuade how I feel about whatever the fact may be.
Hmm. Yeah, no, exactly. And like that was really the problem with like the beginning of the beef. It was just like one side was yapping as to where like the game wasn't even out yet. Like we just want to know what it's gonna look like day one, and most of us were right about what it looked like day one.
Yeah. And what's crazy is I was so hopeful. I so before the reveal trailer came out, the teaser before that, I was like, bro, I have low expectations, high hopes for UFC 5. And then I seen that reveal trailer and the cinematic. I was like, oh shit, they leveled up. Like they level. If anyone ever goes back and watch my reaction, you'll see that I was genuinely excited for UFC 5, bro. I was like, okay, they Frostbite engine, this is not. They went crazy, but then the beta came out, bro, and it just was. It didn't live up to what I seen. You know what I mean? It didn't live up to what I seen when that cinematic trailer came out, and it was actually tough. And then it went from there to like, okay, well, this is the beta. Maybe they gonna make the game better from the beta to release. But then release comes out, it wasn't too much different from the beta. So
Hmm.
that was the problem, right? And it was actually tough, bro, because I had high hopes, bro. Very high hopes for especially um after got the assurance where Marshall was like he was like the game isn't much different from the reveal trailer. This was before the beta came out, or whatever the case may be. I was like, okay, oh shit, okay, so he said it. He said that. I'm okay. I believe him. This at the time, me and him was like, we was cool, so I believed him. Okay, yeah, bet. Say no more. We good. Like we all state we in good hands, and we wasn't in good hands, bro. And
Mm.
and I mean, we had people after the beta. We had people saying, and I won't name nobody specifically. We had people saying this is the best UFC game ever. This is way better than UFC 4, yada this. And now it's oh well, it needs some updates. Like if how did it's not the best. Yes, it needs updates and it's had some, right?
Mm.
But what month are we in? We in March now?
Yep.
Game came out in November, at the end of November. So it's like how much many updates are we looking for them to do for the game to be good? But it just wasn't the game I expected it to be after watching the reveal trailer. So my happiness went
Yeah, yeah, man. That I felt like EA turned into the Cowboys for me. Like I had low expectations, low hopes, and then that teaser dropped, and I was like, holy shit, we might win a Super Bowl. And then UFC 5 came
yeah.
out, and I was like, nope, we got knocked out in the wild card round again.
And
Uh,
even to the point of numbers, no, the numbers don't lie
mm-mm.
when it comes to UFC 5. People can look it up themselves, but
I mean, I can speak firsthand. My content numbers were doing better the last week of UFC 4 than like after all of the hype for UFC 5 died out, because we had like a week or two of hype, and then once
yep,
that happened, everybody's numbers went back down to the drain, and like it is what it is.
exactly.
And then patch after patch, same stuff's being said.
Nothing's changing.
And another game that is set to make release this year, finally on console, they're saying is Undisputed. And I know you're
Mm,
also a big Undisputed content creator. Undisputed ESFL champion.
you know, hey,
Uh, but that game, no matter how much fun I'm having on career mode, that game is still another game that needs a lot of work before they even drop the initial
yes.
release.
I I'm really scared for the release. Like the players, like everyone on console, they're begging, when is it coming to console? When is it coming to console? And some of them may play it regardless, but if a lot of those players was able to play the game today, they realize like, bro, that game is not ready for a release on console. It still needs work. I mean, if we're being completely honest, when it comes to a game made from scratch, essentially what that game is, like they're not basing that game off of like, coming from UFC 4 to 5, UFC 3 to 4. They're not doing that. This is their first one. So, and they've been what this was that was a year in early access. How long was that game in as far as development before they dropped anything? 2 years.
Yeah.
So that's basically 3 years of development. Like that. That's literally not enough time, bro. Like if we're being completely honest and realistic, that's not enough time for a game. That's
Mm,
why I kind of cut them some slack, but I don't cut them slack because the issues in the game I've been told to them over and over and over again, and it's like, bro, when are we gonna get rid of these issues?
I also think for that game, funding could have been used a little more smartly. Maybe instead of going off rip getting Canelo, because I know Canelo asked for a hunk of change. You could have got a deeper development team, and then like went over with the leftover money, like getting your
Yeah,
fighters. And I know
they
how
did
that
get
could.
what they got the Saudi little
Yeah, the
sponsorship
Saudi
now.
Arabia deal.
So that's why I wonder how they gonna go with that. But like I said, they're going from the last update to like a full release, and that's scary, bro. Especially with where they left the game off at. It's scary.
I think that more maybe because they just need to see like more dollar signs in like the initial project. Like they just haven't made enough money yet, especially because it's only early access and on Steam. And when the console drop happens, you're also gonna have PlayStation and Xbox open to it, and a lot of people are gonna download that. I feel like the servers will be broken for a week. They're not gonna.
Oh, don't even get me started on the servers. Don't even get me started on them servers, bro.
I remember day one or the beta. I only played one beta game on
Oh,
Undisputed.
they got cooked. But it was only the U.S. because the U.K. was chilling.
Yeah, they were chilling in the UK, and then all of us in the US couldn't even get into a game. It was taking
Yep.
hours on the loading screen.
Yep.
That undisputed loading screen be giving me PTSD too. It'd be taking a lot. It reminds me of like the Tony Hawk days on PS2, where like you don't know if your PS froze or it's just a normal loading screen. It
Yeah,
could take
that and
days.
the commentary. Whoever wins this fight, surely get a title shot. Like, bro, oh my Ty Gresham, shut up. And it was the beta, but yeah, that game. I wish it gave nothing but the best. You know what I mean? And I give those guys some slack, but it's like, what we doing?
Yeah, nah. And then the small development fight games we got the Muay Thai game, which I haven't checked
Yeah,
out myself. And then we have the boxing game, which what's Bloody Knuckles.
yeah.
Bloody Knuckles street boxing.
One
I
developer,
yes,
one developer.
and that shit is awesome from what I've played so far. And you can only do the training stuff, but that game's cool too. And then we have Undisputed Forever, which I've seen you've been making some
Yeah.
videos about that, and those devs are cool too. I actually sat down with one of their founders and
Mm,
talked to him a little bit. He used a lot of developer talk, and my IQ is too low for that, but they're awesome too. That's a development team that really they care so much for that project, and they just keep pumping stuff out. And they're even doing a fight night now.
yeah, I seen that. I seen that. And what's crazy is I literally never played Undisputed. Like people call Undisputed 3 like the GOAT of MMA games
Hmm.
or UFC games. And I never played it, but once I did play it, I completely understood why they called it the GOAT of MMA games because you get more of a MMA immersion from that game than you do in the more modern games for UFC.
Yeah, exactly. It's just and you get better like positions.
Yeah,
Coming from like wrestling, like I wrestled for like 10 years back in the day, so like
right.
I know all of those positions and stuff. Being able to like sit on the cage and like being able to actually hit a switch is like so like cool to me. But then like coming into EA just not caring about those
Just
positions.
not there. It's all just like it's like a movie, like presentation based. You go from ground and pound. You can't go ground and pound, then move the position. You go like if you knock them down on the cage, you go ground and pound, they automatically get back up. You can't ground and pound them. Okay, now let me go to this position. You can't really finesse that much.
Hmm. Yeah, but it's exciting to see all these like small developers really like making a move into fight games, like a more like stepping away from arcade and going a step more into simulation.
Hmm.
Like the one developer Street Knuckles or the Muay Thai game, or I don't know if you've seen there's a folk style wrestling game coming out soon
I
too. King Diaz covered it a couple months back, and that's gonna be cool too. That's like college wrestling
mm,
and grappling like that. And moving forward, so we've talked for a while now, almost an hour. I do want to ask one more question, roping back to how we started this podcast.
okay.
2014, the playoffs, divisional round, Packers versus the Cowboys.
He caught that, but it
He
wasn't a
did.
catch. It
No, it
wasn't a
was a
catch.
catch.
It wasn't a catch.
Right, that shit was a catch, bro. There's a
It
whole
wasn't a
documentary.
catch. It wasn't a catch.
Nah, bro. You said it right first. You say he caught that.
Hey, I knew. As soon as you said 2014, I knew. I knew.
Nah,
Hey,
bro. Nah, bro.
I'm sorry, big dog. He didn't catch that ball, man.
Des Bryant caught that shit 10 years later. I still have a bad taste in my mouth. I'll forever hate Aaron Rodgers. I don't even care
Hey,
he on a new team now. I still don't like him.
I gotta argue with the rest about that one, bro. I ain't gonna hold you,
There's a
bro.
whole
Honestly,
documentary on it. Like how
since 2011, Green Bay has done nothing but brought me like high expectations. And as soon as they go to the playoffs, they do what Green Bay do. And I love Aaron Rodgers, but I feel like a lot of people give Aaron Rodgers this slack, this cut, this oh he got bad teammates, but Aaron Rodgers has had top 10 defenses and not done nothing with them. Aaron Rodgers has had great weapons around him. I mean, the year we lost to the Buccaneers, which was a couple years back, we lost to the Buccaneers in the I think that was the the conference finals.
Mm-hmm.
We lost to the Buccaneers. Like, bro, we went 3-and-out 3 possessions in a row. How does that happen with Aaron Rodgers? It can't happen.
He had the weapons that year too.
Yes. Yes. So it was no excuse, but hopefully what's his damn name? Can't
Jordan
think of his
Love.
name. Jordan Love. He gets something. I mean, Jordan, I'm not gonna lie. The Jordan Love that showed up to the Cowboys game, bro, I have never seen him act. But don't get me wrong, the stretch going into the playoffs, he was cooking. But like he went into the Cowboys game on a mission when he played y'all, bro. Like he said, bro, I'm not losing to the Cowboys.
I feel like that's how every wild card team does. Aaron Jones too. Like
Yeah.
I had a personal beef with him after that game, bro. I wanted to pull up on Aaron Jones. I didn't care what happened. I had some words for him. I didn't care if he threw me around. I had some words.
Nah, Aaron Jones, I think what they had like 2 touchdowns, 2 or 3, something like that.
Yeah, but the yards, he had over 100.
Yeah. Yeah, he cooked receiving and rushing, I believe.
Shit looked like a Madden game. Somebody just running the ball for 4 quarters.
He cooked out, but better luck next year, bro. Y'all learn when y'all get rid of Dak Prescott.
Yeah, I don't think Dak's the answer, but for now he's got to be my QB1, I guess, until next year. But yeah, man, it's been a pleasure having you sit down and talk with me. We had a long conversation. Tell the people where to find your content.
Yeah, on YouTube, type in Pryoxis, TikTok. You can type in Pryoxis, but my actual TikTok I believe it's like iPryoxis on socials, Twitter, Instagram @Pryoxis.
All right, Pry, thank you so much for sitting down, and we will see y'all next Wednesday. Peace.